Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emma and I'm the Head of Diversity and Inclusion in Technology at Sky. So firstly, what an incredible day it has been today. You've probably come here today because you wanted to maybe be inspired, you maybe wanted to learn something new, or maybe just connect with someone. And I really hope that you've managed to achieve that today. We've heard today from women who have broken boundaries in science and technology, or those that are just getting started. And as we celebrate Ada Lovelace Day today, I'm sure she would be incredibly proud to see such incredible women that are continuing to break boundaries, break the mould, and not let anything get in their way. So I've been asked today to talk a little bit about me and also a little bit about what we're doing at Sky Diversity and Inclusion. So I've been at Sky for 11 years and wow, I've seen incredible amount of change in that time, particularly in regards to diversity and inclusion. So I don't really remember it being much of a thing back when I started in 2009, but I was working in a totally different role in our events team. And we were an all-female team delivering some fantastic projects and events, and I didn't once stop and feel any less capable as a woman doing my job than a man. But I probably did encounter a few kind of occasional sexist remarks back then, but as unacceptable those remarks were, it was just kind of what it was, an unfortunate sign of the times. But I didn't try and let those things get in my way, and I've always worked really hard, and recognition has followed. And I've always totally felt 100% comfortable to be me at work. So let's fast forward 2 years ago when I moved from the corporate affairs team at Sky to take on the role as head of women in technology. And I remember researching for the job, for the interview, and wow, it was like an incredible eye-opener when I learnt about all the gender imbalance across the technology industry. And I didn't have a background in D&I, but I've always passionately believed in doing the right thing. And I felt that this is something that I could really make a change and work hard at. So one of the first meetings I attended in my role was the selection of the Women in Technology Scholars, and you will have heard from those fantastic women earlier today. And now in its second year, it offers 5 women funding of £25,000, which they can use to accelerate their technology business idea. Plus, they also get access to Sky's expansive technology network and resources, as well as crucially mentoring. And I remember I was taken aback by how talented all those women were in that room, and just their total drive to succeed, was inspiring. And I'm so grateful that I was able to meet them and play, a very small part in their story. And I wish them all the very best success for the future. So the Women in Technology Scholarship Programme not only nurtures and provides new opportunities, but I think it also helps broadly raise awareness of the lack of diversity. We know there is a lack of positive female role models to look up to in technology, and I think through this programme we really hope that those women will become just that and encourage other inspiring women to consider a career in technology. And if you heard them today, hopefully you will totally agree with that. We're also focusing on developing talent pools that might not otherwise be there. So our recruitment team do an amazing job at attracting women to Sky, but if we just take those women away from those other tech companies, then we're really not solving anything. Ultimately we need more women in that pool to start with. So we've been running our free training course, which is called Get Into Tech, which helps women with little or totally no technical background at all to try their hand at coding, with the goal of them training for a career as a software developer. It was launched in 2016, and we've had over 1,500 women apply since it started, with over 200 women going on to complete the course. And at the end of the course, then they have the option to apply for a permanent role at Sky if they choose. But we can also, with their permission, share their details with other hiring tech companies in the region, which really helps the industry more broadly and encourages, hopefully, more companies to follow Sky's lead in addressing diversity in technology. And in our home service teams, we're doing a similar thing. We've invested £2 million into our Women in Home Service programme, which is a paid training programme which provides all the necessary skills to become an engineer at Sky. We regularly have over 600 women a year apply for this scheme, so it's hugely popular. And since its launch, the number of women working in home service has increased by 450%, which is, amazing. So much more of that. But, we all know, unfortunately, it's not good enough to just rely on women to attract more women. The responsibility really has to fall on everyone. Everyone has to play their part and take accountability to make, diversity and inclusion reality. So at Sky, we've moved the narrative on from simply women in tech to creating more inclusive teams. And, teams that inclusivity is just not only good for people, it's also really good for our business. That's proven that it's kind of a no-brainer to get this stuff right. So last October, we rebranded our Women in Tech programme to become Tech for Everyone, which, you might say it's a very simple shift of name and narrative. What's the difference? But overnight, it transformed our engagement with our wider audience, and all of a sudden, men started to be interested in what we were doing here. They want to be part of the journey. But, that's not to say that we've moved away from supporting women. We're doing more now than I think we've ever done. But it was absolutely crucial to make Women in Tech part of our wider plan if we were really going to make the progress that we needed. And right from the start, when I took this role, I knew that we just couldn't fix that gender problem by focusing on just women alone. And I've been driving for a long time now that everyone needs to play their part, and it is working. And we're seeing and hearing that the culture is becoming more inclusive. Our leadership team are totally bought in. They're very supportive. Last week we just had National Inclusion Week, and everyone played their part, and it was incredible to see. Change is happening. And we now have a fantastic diverse working group made up of representatives from across technology who are helping me to drive that diversity inclusion message and work streams right down to the root of our teams through our network of champions, which is something that I could never achieve on my own when we're talking about teams of thousands of people. And I think it's important to say that we can no longer just focus on gender anymore. The world isn't as simple as that, and we need to start to consider intersectionality if we're going to make positive change. We were all affected by the brutal murder of George Floyd and the events that followed with the Black Lives Matter. And it was an incredible time, something I've never really seen happen before at Sky, but people were deeply impacted by the course of events, and they rose up, they stood side by side in a way I've never seen before. The senior managers were totally committed to making change, and we will, and this wasn't just going to be a moment. We knew that we should and we could do more, and we are. So Sky is publicly committed to creating more opportunities for Black, Asian and minority ethnic people, particularly at that senior leadership level where we know there's simply a gap there. And as a media company, we're also going to use our voice and use our channels and our platforms to raise awareness of racial injustice. And we're also going to work with our colleagues and charities to make change within the communities that we all live and work. And I do think that now is the time. I'm hopeful that things will change for the better. And I really feel that we've reached that pivotal moment in diversity and inclusion, and people are talking about it more than ever before, and it's brilliant. And I really feel there's a difference this time, and that we will make change, we will accomplish our goals. So finally, I would just like to say a great big huge thank you to everyone that's been part of putting this event together. So Natasha, Julie, Joanna, Ellis, Alex, Verity and Suman from Sky, Sam and Helen from Empowering Women with Tech, Leeds City Council, thank you for supporting this event. And finally, all of our totally incredible speakers who've given their time today to join us. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening. And if you want to connect with me afterwards, please do so via LinkedIn. Thank you.